Hello, students. Welcome in this very unique and very modern course of mobile journalism. Nowadays, when the pattern of journalism is changing very fast, it's very important to know what are the new trends in journalism and how they can be used by young aspirants of journalism and mass communication. When print media, radio, television, and its charm is fading away, a new form of journalism is coming up, which is called digital journalism or social media journalism or mobile journalism. But before I shed some light on mobile journalism, let us understand what is journalism. Journalism is not only talking about 5 W's and 1 H, but now it's something beyond that. The truth and the facts which must be reported in your storage. The definition of that changes along the geographies and along the conditions, as it is said that you must keep in your mind the place, the time, the atmosphere when you are reporting the facts. So it may be one fact that the one truth holds no value when you change the place, time, and atmosphere. I will cite examples for terrorism and violence and its reporting, and how you, as an aspirant of mobile journalism, can report such storage. I will have be taking three places: one, Africa; second, India; and third, Sri Lanka. Three most recent events which happened at these three places will force you to think how to use media and how to not use. Now, there are two stands when you are reporting something on terrorism and violence. One stand is either terrorist organizations can use media to propagate their agenda and promote themselves among the common public by terrorizing them physically, mentally, and financially. Second stand is that media can inform and educate about ill effects of terrorism among the common public. As a journalist, as a responsible journalist, your job is to report facts. But then you will say, when this is the truth of society, that violence is happening, terrorism is happening, and if I am reporting it, how I can be held responsible for propagating the agenda of terrorist. That's a true. That's truth. But as a responsible journalist, a restrained journalism is expected from your side while reporting on such issue. And you are on your own liberty to decide what to report and what not to report. And with these three examples, I will help you understanding how to do it. Let's start with Africa. For past couple of years, a very unfortunate event is happening in southern African countries, which is called xenophobic violence. It started when a group of black Afrikaners, they call themselves Afrikaners, they started killing white farmers. And that incident is spread across some other countries like Zimbabwe and a few other countries. and people had to come out. Peacemakers had to come out to ask people to restrain from spreading any kind of rumors so to avoid further violence, to the extent that the President Donald J. Trump asked his Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to investigate the matter. So, if media would not have been responsible in that scenario, it would have spread like a fire and across Africa. So, media, there were two sections of media in the entire xenophobic violence scenario. One which fueled the incidents and further propagated and created more violence in the region. And there was a second section of media which restrained themselves for further propagating it. So, always you have responsibility to restrain yourself and decide what to report, what not to report. You report the fact, but at the same time you should think of what can be good for society, what can leave a bad impact on society, and in the way of doing it, whether you are not fulfilling the agenda of wrong people by reporting more and more on a particular story. Second, stories of India. India is also home to terrorist activities. Lot of things happen in different regions. There are cross-border terrorism issues. There is homegrown terrorism issues like red terrorism, which is called Maoism or Naxalism in eastern part of India, and government acts according to its choice as per need of the people. Now, here too, some section of the media reports them by crossing all limits and without not realizing that they actually are fulfilling the objective of terrorists by siding the people who are actually committing the violence. Similarly, there is another section of media which adopts restraints and avoids escalating the tension. The third instance is of Sri Lanka. Recently, in one of the most heinous terrorist attacks, where almost 298 people were killed and more than 500 people were injured in a series of coordinated blasts across churches and hotels in Sri Lanka, where the images were too bad to be broadcast. It's a very responsible media which is which can be held accounted for not further propagating it. Now we all know investigation will go on for years because it's a kind of a most disastrous, most impactful event after decades of peace process and peace establishment in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka was also home to terrorist activities. Groups like Liberation Tiger of Tamilam were active and were involved in series of political killing of innocent people for several decades. And it took a lot of effort, lot of negotiation to calm them down, unless and until a military operation was not inducted to finally kill the chief of LTTE. Now it looks like that several groups are still active within Sri Lanka and they are getting support from outside. So, as a journalist, your job is not to conclude, not to reach out, and not to propagate such facts which can jeopardize the investigation process or further which can harm the common public. This is how the journalism took place. This is how a journalist should act. Now, coming to the I cited one example. Similarly, on other issues, whether they are social issues, whether they are political issues, financial issues, you should have you should always have some restraint, and after properly analyzing the facts you should report. That is all about journalism. There is several elements to journalism. One, there should be accuracy in your reports. Your reports should be timely written and broadcast. Truth and facts must be reported. You should not be biased towards a particular group or party. You should be transparent in your report. You should be objective when analyzing the facts. You should give bird's eye view. And finally, you don't become judgmental in your story. This is how a journalist does. Now, coming to the mobile journalism. What is mobile journalism? I will tell you what. Most of the journalists in a television news channel organization, they have a crew in which you have a camera person, you have an editor, you have a reporter, and you have a producer. A group of 4 to 5 people makes a crew and they report on a story. Cameraman along with the reporter goes in the field. He fixes the camera, takes shots. Reporter takes bites, takes interviews, attends the press conferences, returns back the office. Editor views the tape or chip or visuals and he edits it. Producer supervises it, and finally, after voice over, sound effects, that story is made. But what you as a journalist, aspirant of journalism can do, your mobile phone is the best editing tool, best camera, and best reporter. If you have a good quality mobile phone, whether it is a smartphone or iPhone, hardly matters. If you know how to handle your mobile phone as a camera, and if you know how to download a particularly basic software of editing, you are a reporter of your own. And when you use mobile for journalistic purpose, this is all what mobile journalism is. So, as a human being, when you come out of your house every day and either go to office or to college or to university, you see so many events happening around you. You may see traffic on the roads, you may see a river floating in your city, you may see a fire in some building, you may see some accident, you may see any unwanted event happening on the streets, you may see anything. And as a sharp mobile journalist, you can record it in your camera, and within no time, if you know a bit of basic editing, you can edit it and prepare a 3 to 5 minute video and can turn yourself into a good mobile journalist. Now, in this course of mobile journalism, there are 7 modules. and they talk about 7 different aspects. In first module, you will understand about what is journalism. In second module, you will understand what is social discovery. In third module, you will understand about social videography. In fourth module, you will understand about social editing. In fifth module, you will understand about social engagement. In sixth module, I will ask all of you to create your portfolio, because whatever you learn in the classroom or whatever your teacher or professor tells you, it's incomplete unless you do not do practicals yourself. So, in the sixth module, you will create a video of 7 5-minute stories. Each story out of 7 story will be of duration of 5 minutes, and that is 7 stories will help you creating your portfolio, which you can send to different television news channels or video news agencies. In seventh module, I will tell you your earning platform. When are you doing this course with Yesbud University, it's very important that as a student of this course, you must know how to create value for your videos, because ultimately a student wants to go for internship to earn something, to get a hands-on experience and to learn something. But in seventh module, without even going to a proper television channel, I will prepare you guys to earn something, and for that I will give you a portal address where you can register yourself, and you can upload your videos, and those videos will be sold in global market at a very reasonable price. So in these 7 modules, once you finish all these 7 modules, you will be fully develop yourself in a professional mobile journalist. To welcome in the course and be ready, keep ball rolling, gear up to be called a good, great professional mobile journalist. Thank you very much.